No one expected the day to unfold like this. When Prince William stepped out this morning, it was meant to be another official engagement, another appearance marked by polite smiles and steady composure. But within moments, something shifted. The atmosphere changed. The cameras were rolling, the crowd was silent, and suddenly, this wasn't just a royal visit. It was personal. Witnesses say there was a visible pause in his expression, a fleeting but powerful moment where emotion surfaced beneath the surface of duty. The future king, known for his calm strength, seemed deeply moved by the stories he was hearing. And for those watching closely, it became clear, this was not routine. This was real. As he listened to a family share their heartbreaking experience, Prince William's posture softened. He leaned in. He held eye contact. He didn't rush. And in that instant, royal protocol faded into the background. What stood in its place was something far more powerful, empathy shaped by lived experience. Many couldn't help but remember the loss that defined his own childhood. Grief is not unfamiliar to him. Pain is not abstract. And perhaps that is why today felt different. It wasn't just about fulfilling an obligation. It felt like a man connecting to another human being's sorrow on a deeply personal level. The crowd sensed it, the cameras captured it, and the nation felt it. Because sometimes, the strongest leaders are not the ones who hide emotion, but the ones brave enough to carry it in front of the world. And today, Prince William did exactly that.
The atmosphere was noticeably different the moment he arrived. There are public appearances, and then there are moments that carry emotional weight far beyond the schedule printed on paper. Today was one of those days for Prince William, a day where duty and emotion walked side by side. As the Prince of Wales stepped out to greet the gathered crowd, cameras clicked in rapid succession. To the outside world, it looked like another royal engagement, carefully planned, respectfully executed. But those watching closely sensed something deeper. There was a softness in his expression, a pause in his smile, and a quiet intensity in his eyes that told a far more personal story. Today's engagement centered around meeting families affected by hardship, individuals navigating grief, illness, and unexpected loss. It was not a glamorous occasion. There were no glittering banquets or celebratory speeches. Instead, there were handshakes held a little longer than usual, conversations spoken in lowered voices, and moments where silence said more than words ever could. Prince William has long been known for his dedication to mental health advocacy. Over the years, he has spoken openly about the importance of addressing emotional well-being, encouraging people to speak honestly about pain and vulnerability. But today, that mission felt especially personal. Witnesses described how he listened intently to each story shared with him. When one young father recounted losing a loved one unexpectedly, William's expression changed. He nodded slowly, maintaining eye contact, not as a royal figure performing a duty, but as someone who truly understood grief. It is impossible to separate such moments from William's own history. Losing his mother at a young age shaped much of his life. Though decades have passed, the memory remains a quiet companion to his public service.
Being heir to the throne carries immense expectation. Every gesture, every word, every expression is scrutinized. Yet, in emotionally charged environments, Prince William often reveals a side of himself that transcends royal protocol. Today, that authenticity was undeniable. As he toured the facility, staff members later shared that he asked thoughtful, specific questions. He did not rush conversations. He did not glance at his watch. Instead, he appeared fully present, a man aware of the significance of showing up not just physically, but emotionally. Observers noticed that at one point, he took a brief pause before continuing to the next room. It was subtle but meaningful, a deep breath, a moment of reflection, a reminder that even those born into privilege are not immune to the weight of human sorrow.
Perhaps the most powerful moment of the day occurred quietly. While speaking to a grieving mother, Prince William gently placed his hand over hers as she struggled to finish her sentence. It was not rehearsed, it was not grand, but it was deeply human. In that simple gesture, many saw a reflection of empathy forged through personal pain.
Those present later described the interaction as incredibly sincere and deeply moving. For the cameras, it was a fleeting image. For the woman involved, it may have been a memory she carries for life. Royal engagements often focus on visibility, being seen, being photographed, being documented. But today's appearance felt more about connection than coverage.
Prince William has gradually embraced a more emotionally open leadership style. In past speeches, he has encouraged men in particular to speak about their mental health struggles, challenging outdated notions of stoicism. Today, that message seemed embodied rather than spoken. He did not deliver an impassioned address filled with dramatic declarations. Instead, his strength was quiet, his compassion was steady, and his presence alone appeared to offer comfort. This evolution in his public role reflects a broader shift within the monarchy, a movement towards relatability and modern relevance. Rather than standing at a distance, William often steps closer. And in doing so, he bridges the gap between royalty and reality.
For many royal watchers, moments like today inevitably bring reflections of Princess Diana's legacy. She was known for her deeply personal interactions, her willingness to touch, to comfort, to kneel beside hospital beds without hesitation. Though William rarely speaks at length about comparisons, glimpses of that same warmth often surface in his engagements. Today felt like one of those glimpses, not because he sought attention, but because empathy cannot be hidden. Across the United Kingdom, reactions quickly followed, social media filled with messages praising Prince William's sincerity and compassion. Many noted how refreshing it felt to see a future king lead with heart. Others expressed admiration for his composure, balancing private emotion with public duty. Leadership, after all, is not only about authority, it is about presence, about listening, about showing up on days that are heavy and uncertain. Today, Prince William did exactly that.
After the final handshake and farewell, the day did not simply end. Public engagements conclude, but the emotions they stir often linger. One can only imagine the quiet reflection that may follow such visits, the stories heard, the memories triggered, the reminder that behind titles and tradition, there is a human being navigating his own emotional journey. Prince William has grown into his role steadily, shaped by both privilege and profound loss. Days like today highlight that balance, the blending of responsibility and empathy. A powerful yet heartbreaking moment is not defined by drama or spectacle. It is defined by authenticity. Today's appearance will likely be summarized in headlines and brief news clips, but beyond the surface coverage lies something deeper, a portrait of a man stepping into his future role with compassion forged through experience. As the monarchy continues to evolve, so too does its future king. And if today proved anything, it is this: strength is not the absence of emotion, it is the courage to carry it, publicly, respectfully, and with unwavering grace. As the final handshake ended and the camera slowly lowered, the moment did not simply disappear. For those who were there, it lingered, and for many watching from afar, it felt like more than just another royal engagement. It felt like a glimpse into the heart of Prince William, not just as the future king, but as a man shaped by love, loss, and responsibility. There is something profoundly powerful about seeing someone in a position of immense duty allow even the smallest crack of emotion to show. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just real. A pause in the voice, a softened expression, a hand placed gently over another in comfort. In that quiet gesture, people saw strength. Because real strength does not always stand tall and unshaken. Sometimes it leans closer. Sometimes it listens. Sometimes it remembers what it feels like to hurt. Prince William has spent much of his life learning how to balance public expectation with private emotion. From a young boy walking behind his mother's coffin to a grown man preparing for the weight of a crown, every chapter of his life has been lived under watchful eyes, and yet through it all, there remains a sincerity that cannot be rehearsed. Today reminded the nation of that sincerity. It reminded people that behind the title, there is a father, a husband, a son who understands grief in a way that words cannot fully describe. And perhaps that is why his presence meant so much, because when he stood before those families, he did not stand above them, he stood with them. Moments like this do not trend because of spectacle. They resonate because of connection. In a world that often feels distant and divided, empathy feels rare. And when it appears, especially from someone destined to lead, it matters. As the car door closed and the day's schedule moved forward, the emotional weight of that encounter remained. It traveled beyond the walls of that building. It carried across screens and into homes. It reminded people that leadership is not just about authority or tradition. It is about humanity. One day, Prince William will carry the crown, but today he carried something far more important, the quiet understanding that shared pain can become shared strength. And if this moment is any indication of the kind of king he will become, then the future may not simply be secure. It may be compassionate.